everybody. I hope you're ready to be dazzled because we have the Razzle Dazzle litter of mini multi-generation Australian Labradoodles for you, and they are dazzling. We are going to do their 3-week update, let you know what all of their achievements and accomplishments have been this past week. We're going to talk a little bit about how Ripple is feeling, and then we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, shopping, and some of the things you can start putting on your list for getting ready to bring your puppy home. It's not that much longer, and you'll be here first for your puppy family visit, and then it will be the next time you're here, it'll be puppy pickup day. So the major achievement of this litter of mini Labradoodles this week is, guess what? They can hear. They all have their ears open and they are actual dogs now. They can see, they can hear, and they can go to the bathroom on their own. So it is a really big news for them in week 3. And pretty soon they're going to start eating solid food as well. This update is going to be the last one we do from the maternity ward. These puppies are getting to be too big to stay in the whelping box, so we're going to be moving them out into the nursery area, which is located in the Doodle Den. And they're going to be sharing that space with the 9 puppies from the Cafe Noir litter. Those puppies are medium Australian Labradoodles, and they'll be here for another few weeks. And then these ones will be in there, and Sister Hazel's litter will follow in their footsteps. So they'll never be alone in the nursery, but for now they're going to share it with the Cafe Noir puppies. So let's talk about each of the puppies individually and where they're at this week. And we'll start with this one here, which is Blue Collar, just because he happens to be closest to me. Now, Blue Collar is the second smallest in the litter. We have 2 boys and 2 girls in this litter. And the 2 boys are the 2 smaller puppies, and the 2 girls are the larger puppies. And now Blue Collar, who's letting you see right down his tonsils and seems to be very tired, he is, as we've discussed before, a beautifully marked puppy. He is a black and white party, which is his 2 main body colors. And then at the side of his head and on his eyebrows, you'll see he has beautiful phantom markings. Those are his tan points. And normally in a phantom, we see those markings down along the front paws as well. But because his paws are white, we don't see them on the legs and the paws. And he says he's not really too interested in snuggling right now. So Mr. Blue is now 1.26 kilograms, and he's gained 430 grams this past week. So he's done really well with his weight gain. Now over here, we have a very similarly marked puppy, and this is Purple. This is our other boy, and he is the smallest puppy in the litter. Purple now weighs 1.16 kilograms, so he has gained 375 grams. He's a little bit more awake than his brother. He's not going to be so yawny. And you'll see he too is a black and white party. He has more white on him than black. Blue Collar has more black. And you can see at the side of his face and on his eyebrows, if he'll cooperate here, that he too has those gorgeous phantom markings. And he has quite a bit of more white on his face. His chin and on his mustache is also got some white on it. And he has little bits of white on his head too. So that's Mr. Purple Collar. Now let's go to the girls. And we'll start here with Miss Pink Collar. She has herself wedged right under the pig rail here. I'll see if I can get her out. She's probably going to be mad at me for disturbing her nap. Come on, Pinky. There's a girl. So there we have Miss Pink Collar, and she too has very similar markings to her 2 brothers. She is also a black and white party. She has a good amount of black on her body, and then she has those really pretty phantom markings on the side of her face, up on her eyebrows, and then once again her legs are white because she's a party. And Miss Pink Collar Girl is now 1.4 kilograms. So she has increased her weight by 535 grams this past week. And you'll see on her face that she has quite a lot of white. Her whole muzzle is white, and then she has that beautiful slash of white right up through the middle of her head. So she's a gorgeous girl. They're all gorgeous, of course. Yes, you are. So that's Pink. And last but not least is Red Collar Girl. Red Collar Girl is our biggest puppy in this litter. And she too is a black and white party. And you can see she has a really beautiful way her markings are on her party markings. They sort of swirl and look like a little bit like ink that's run a bit. I think they're really particularly striking. And then she has a beautiful bit of black on her armpit. She doesn't have any of the phantom markings that the other dogs have, but she has this absolutely stunning black eye. And no, we didn't punch our puppy. Of course not. She just has black markings on her one eye, and her other eye is still clear. Now, as she gets older, these markings will come closer together. So while her face is totally open and white right now, she will have more of that black that moves in closer as she gets older. So Red weighs 1.52 kilograms now, so she's gained 578 kilograms, which is quite a good weight gain for a little puppy in a week. So that's all their weights. As I said, they can all hear, they can all go to the bathroom on their own now, and because they can do all of that, you'll see them putting their heads under the pig rail more now. As soon as they have all of their senses, they tend to look for somewhere where they feel safe and protected and have something over their head. This is your first inclination of them looking for something like a crate. This is one of the reasons why crates appeal to dogs so much, because they have something over their head, they look for something that's cozy, protects them, and you'll see how they wedge their bodies right underneath there. So they want a nice side and a nice covering. So this leads us to what we're going to talk about today, and that's some things you can start shopping for. And a crate is one of those things. Crates are really important for your dog. They will make your life easier and they'll make your dog much happier. As you've just seen, they really like to be wedged into a small space. So it's really important you don't think, oh, this crate is way too small. You want to buy a crate that is very cozy and has just enough room for your dog to fit in and turn around. Your dog does not need to be able to stand up in the crate. Sitting up is good, but they don't need to be able to stand up in the crate because they're going in the crate to rest. They'll probably be in their crate to enjoy some bones and some favorite toys, but mostly they're going in there to sleep. So what you want is to create a nice, cozy, denish feel for them, something that's very enclosed, that they can see out, but they feel like they're safe and they're protected. So that's something you can start looking for, is a crate. And the maximum size you want for a mini is a medium-sized crate, which is going to be roughly 19 by 22 by 24. None of them will come in those precise measurements, so just something that approximates those measurements. Some people prefer to have soft-sided crates, and some people prefer to have plastic, and some again have the wire crates. For us, we have all plastic crates. The soft-sided crates are really great for traveling, and they work really well for older dogs. They're not ideal for young puppies because they can chew them and they can destroy them. So you may have your crate run out before your puppy gets old enough to really enjoy it. The wire crates I'm not a fan of. They're really easy to clean, but they're very easy for your puppy to get their mouth caught on in between the bars. They don't provide that sense of security to your puppy. They aren't like a home. They're not like a shelter. It's just like a cage. So they're really not my favorite at all. If you do want to buy a wire one for whatever reason, make sure you get a really nice cover for it so that your puppy does feel like they have sides and a top on it, and you just have the door that's open. Even on a plastic crate, there is the wire grids on the door, but the door is much smaller too, so your puppy can see out, but your puppy is going to feel like they aren't as exposed to the outside world with that smaller, more private door. So that's my recommendation, but everybody does what's best for them. And you may want to have more than one crate. You may want to put your puppy in the crate when you're driving. You may want to have one in your bedroom, and you may want to have another one on your main floor if you have a two-story house, or if your bedroom's a long ways away if you have a one-story house. So go ahead and buy one or two, and that way it's a lot easier than lugging them around, because they're not the easiest thing to move around. So that brings me to one of the things we're going to talk about today, and that's starting to get ready for your puppy. So one of the first things you can do as a family is get together and go through your house. Where are the safe zones? Where are the danger zones? Where's the puppy zone? Where's the puppy free zone? And start figuring out how it's all going to work logistically. You're going to want to know how to block your puppy off from any areas you don't want your puppy to get into, like the bedroom where young children might have their toys lying around, where you might have your office files that you don't want your puppy to eat, anything like that. Or if you have a mud room and that's where everyone drops their boots and their gloves and their backpacks, that area should be blocked off as well, because those are all be magnets for a puppy. Won't matter if you have a million toys, if there's one shoe out, you know they're going to pick that shoe. Same for cell phones, remote controls, anything like that. Whatever you don't want them to have, you know that's what they're going to pick first. So start to look around, figure out what you're going to need to pick up and have out of your puppy's reach. So if you have a coffee table and that's where you maybe leave your cell phone, perhaps some books and magazines and maybe your remote control, it might be an idea to have that coffee table cleared off and find new homes for those items while your puppy's still young and in their chewing stage. The other thing you're going to want to find is easy access for taking your puppy outside. Pick what door the puppy's going to go out. You're going to want to be consistent and always use the same door while you're house training. So one that's easy for everyone in the family to use. If you have kids, a door that your kids for sure can open. Sometimes we have big, heavy sliding glass doors that aren't as easy for youngsters to open up. So that might not be the best choice, but something that works for everybody in the family and is easy to get to from all places in the house that your puppy's going to be. So figure those things out and then look around and think, where are you going to put the puppy's bed? And by bed, I just mean their lounging bed. Where are you going to put the crate? All these sorts of things. Where's your puppy going to eat? You want to have your puppy eating in an area that's really easy to clean up. I just got one of them here is making a bit of a fuss. There we go. It's blue collar. Or yes, blue collar. He was stuck, I think, behind my back and getting his head squished. So he was telling me a bit of a story. So we'll just bring him out to sit on my lap, and then you can enjoy looking at him instead of just at me all the time. So one of the things you're going to want to do is figure out where your puppy's going to eat. You want to have them eating in an area that's easy to clean, easy to maintain, and also that's somewhat quiet, so that they're not distracted by kids running around or by a lot of noise and other activity, and also somewhere that's fairly comfortable for you. Labradoodles are not food motivated, and if they have one thing that is annoying, it's the fact that they can be really hard to encourage to eat. Unlike most breeds of dogs, they will say no to food far more often than any other dog. So you think, oh, I've got it all figured out. They've got a great appetite. They're loving what I'm feeding them. And then 3 days later, they look at you like, you think I'm going to eat that? You got to be kidding. So you want somewhere where you're comfortable so you can sit with your puppy, because puppies don't like to be left alone. So if you put their bowl down and then you go on and carry on and start making your own dinner, they're going to feel a little left out and say, well, hey, I don't think I'll bother eating. I'm going to come and see what you're doing. So find a place where you can sit and you can be comfortable, where it's clean, and where the puppy is not particularly distracted. You also want to look around and pick up things like area rugs. So for puppies, all carpet reads as grass and outdoors. So this is why people are often perplexed and say, gee, whenever my puppy goes to the bathroom, he heads for a carpet. Or if my puppy has to throw up, they head for a carpet. It's because to them, that is outdoors and the lawn. So that's that's how it is in their brain, and that's why puppies usually have accidents on carpets or throw up on carpets more than they do on the easier to clean hardwood and tile. So best bet is to pick up all your area rugs and just put them away for the first couple of months. They also tend to be the type of thing that puppies like to chew on. And that's the other thing you're going to want to do is look around and see if you have anything that's just way too attractive to a puppy in terms of chewing on it. Because their teeth are still coming in and then they're going to lose those baby teeth and get their grown-up teeth, there's going to be some chewing going on. So you want to make sure you have removed anything that they can pick to chew on as much as possible. Of course, you can't remove all your furniture. So legs for tables, for instance, are usually something that they're very fond of because it's down at their level. So then you want to buy a product like Bitter Apple, something like that that you can spray on your furniture that doesn't stain or cause any harm to them, but puts off your puppy. So when they touch the bitter apple with their tongue, it doesn't taste good, hence the name Bitter Apple, and that discourages them from chewing on it. The other thing, of course, is you have lots of things that are appropriate for them to chew on. So when we do our update and we talk about food, we'll let you know all the various things we have available that you can get directly from us in terms of helping them with their teeth and their chewing. So it's really good to have something that's healthy, something that's clean, and something that really does help with the chewing. So we'll talk about that later. But for now, what you want to do is focus on getting the house set up, making it work logistically, deciding where your puppy-free zones are, where the puppy safety areas are, the doors that the puppy is going to go in and out, where you're going to put the beds, where you're going to put the crates. Now for beds, you can buy a variety of different beds for them to sleep in. Those come from inexpensive to quite expensive. My recommendation is you start with less expensive beds in the beginning because, again, inevitably, your puppy's probably going to chew on that bed to some degree. So no point in having spent $120 on some lovely, long-lasting bed that they then destroy when they're teething. So just get something that's less expensive, and again, the smaller, the better. Your puppy is going to be around 20 pounds when they're mature, so you don't need anything that's huge, just something that's nice and comfortable. And when you come for your puppy family visit, we'll show you some of the beds that we use, the sizes, the types, and then you'll have a good idea for going shopping as to what will work well. When your puppy gets to be a bit older and you have the more permanent bed, then that's when you're going to want to be sure that you spend a little bit more money, and most importantly, look for one that the whole cover of the bed zips off and can be washed and dried really easily. Because no matter what, dogs are dirty when they're out in the mud, when it rains or snows, as it has been lately, or they're going to throw up or have an accident at some point. So you're going to want to be able to wash those bed covers and wash them really easily. So we usually recommend for everyone that you have a couple of beds with removable covers once they're a bit older. In the beginning, you can just get a couple of inexpensive ones, and when they're done with them, it's not a big deal if you don't keep them anymore. You can wash the whole bed usually, but it's not always that convenient in your washing machine to do that. The other thing you can start looking for is a leash that you can put around your waist. So that's a hands-free leash or a waist leash. This is a really great thing to have in the house when your puppy's just learning how to be house trained, or when you need to keep an eye on your puppy and you're busy with something else. That way your puppy can't move into a danger area, can't get into any trouble because your puppy is attached to you. Works great if you have a home office and you're working, or you're just answering your emails, if you're preparing a meal, or if you're having a telephone conversation, anything like that where your hands are engaged and you can't hang on to your puppy. So that way your puppy is attached to you and can't get away. Works really well outside too. So if you take your puppy outside because it's time to go to the bathroom, you can put them on the waist leash. You can go to the area that you would like them to go to the bathroom in, and that gives them a little bit of space to run around in, but doesn't let them move off of the area that you've chosen for them to go to the bathroom in. Now, one other thing you can do as a family right now is, if you have children, is figure out, where is your puppy sleeping? Is puppy going to sleep with mom and dad? Is puppy going to sleep with one child one night and another child another night? And so on. You're going to want the person that the puppy is sleeping with to be the one that's quite happy to get up in the night and take the puppy outside to go to the bathroom if need be. Some of them will sleep through the night right from the time that you take your puppy home. Some of them will get up during the night for a couple of weeks. Each puppy's different, and although they all have the same beginning here at Van Isle Labradoodles, their bladders are different sizes and they'll mature at a different rate. So make sure whoever's going to have the puppy understands that their job is to get up in the night and take that puppy outside. So sometimes that's a good reason for children to decide that maybe that's something mom and dad should do. And then mom and dad can argue over whose turn it is. The other thing that you're going to want to start to do as a family is also decide what your house rules are. Are the puppies going on the furniture or no? Start with being more strict, because you can always lessen your rules as opposed to changing them and making them more strict. So if you decide, I don't know if I want puppy to be on the furniture or not, start with saying no, they're not going to be on the furniture. Generally, people end up letting them come on the furniture because the people get tired of being on the floor with the puppy. It's more comfortable for the people to have the puppy up with them. Totally a personal decision. But you don't want to start with having the puppy on the furniture and then try to change it to telling the puppy they're not allowed up there. That's really hard to do. But it's not hard to go from saying, no, you're not allowed, to saying, oh, okay, you are. You just have to make sure once you've made that decision, you don't want to change it again. And finally, the fun thing to do as a family is, let's start thinking about names. What are we going to name this little sweetie that's coming home with us? What's any ideas that you may have? And just a couple of things to keep in mind. Try to pick a name that's somewhat unique. There's lots and lots of dogs, for instance, who might be called one particular name that happens to be very popular. So then if you're out at the dog park or you're in a group of people with your dogs, it's really hard if all the dogs are called Rover that year. And you say, hey, Rover, and then you have 10 Rovers that are looking at you. So try to make it something that's distinctive, that your dog knows, oh, hey, that's me. And nobody else is going to turn around and be confused and think that it's them that is being called. Also, try to avoid names that have a lot of S sound. Dogs don't like S sounds. That doesn't mean that you can't have S in the word, because we have spirit, and spirit's fine. But you don't want to have something like fizz, because that sound represents something that's not comfortable for dogs to hear. It makes them afraid. It makes them put their back up a bit. I can't tell you exactly why, but I can tell you that it is a sound that dogs do not enjoy. So try to not call your dog Fizz. And also a name that's easy for people to say. So a 3-year-old can say it, a 98-year-old can say it, someone whose first language is not English can say it, and your vet is going to say it right. And if your puppy ever gets lost, heaven forbid, and you have a tag, make sure it's a name that is easy. You can look at it and go, oh yes, that dog's name is Spot. I can see that it is S-P-O-T, and your dog will respond. So you don't want to have some particularly really unique spelling that makes it difficult for anyone to understand how to pronounce the dog's name, and then perhaps lose the dog if ever your dog does get away. So those are some things to keep in mind when you're picking out the name. I think picking out the dog's name is super fun. Now for this litter, for the families in this litter, you have a 50-50 chance of getting a girl or a boy. Although I will tell you that it is a girl that I'm going to be keeping back for us for breeding possibilities. So either Pink or Red is going to be our dog, and our dog is going to go to a wonderful guardian named Marion, who lives in Campbell River. So Marion will know that she has a girl dog. But unfortunately, Marion doesn't get to choose her name. That is part of our guardian program, is that we name our dogs, and that is the name that goes with the dog. So Marion doesn't get to participate in that exercise, so she'll have to do some more shopping. The other thing you might want to start looking for is some fun things like some toys. Look for some really good quality ones, ones that are sturdy, ones that squeak and crinkle. Those are things that puppies love. You want to have ones that are have a good outside fabric on them so that they're resistant to those razor sharp little puppy teeth and will stand up a bit. Some of them have two squeakers in them because they can get through to those squeakers quite quickly. And stuffless stuffies are great. So they're kind of a flat one, and they usually crinkle as well as squeak. Those are fantastic for puppies. They come in about a foot and a half long, so you can wave them, you can play tug with them, you can have the puppy running around while you move it and the puppy chases it. Those are excellent toys, and those go in the washing machine really easily. Try to avoid anything that's made out of rubber or nylon or made in China. You won't be able to avoid everything that's manufactured in China, but if you can find something that's made in Canada or the US, generally the standards are a little bit safer for your puppy. Outward Hound is an excellent brand. Kong is another excellent brand. Those are the two brands that we tend to buy the most of for something we're looking to last for longer. We'll buy lots of things that are in the $3 and $4 price range that are just something they're going to play with briefly, and then we don't worry about where the country of origin is. But you do want to keep that in mind, especially if it's a rubber or a nylon type product. Nylabones, they're all right, but you have to be very careful with them because the puppies can bite off little bits of them and then swallow them, which is not a good thing. So we prefer that you use fresh bones or some of the chews that we offer from Puppy Love that we'll tell you a bit more about in the weeks to come. So there's lots of things for you to do this week. It'll help make the week go faster. Looking forward to your puppy family visit. So start thinking about some names, and I'd love it if you tell me what your name choices are in the comments below. I always am so interested to know what people name their dogs and the reasons behind their choices for the dog's name. And you can start going through the house and picking out the spots where puppy is and isn't going to be going. Find that right door for going to the bathroom. That's all important. And start looking at what needs to be picked up and how to puppy proof your home. Don't forget, if you have table lamps and you have cords, that you want to get those picked up, or a cord protector put around them. Same if you have a computer room, if you have a home office, I would recommend that that's probably a spot to keep your puppy out of, because there's always a lot of expensive equipment in there you don't want your puppy in, and there's generally a lot of cords going on too. So those are things to keep in mind when you are doing your puppy proofing. So we hope you enjoyed the video and seeing the kids. Our last one from their maternity ward, now that they're all grown up and moving into the nursery. So you'll start to see them really moving around next week when we do our video, because we'll have a lot more space, and so they can show you how mobile they truly are. So we hope you liked the video. Give us a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful and you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our updates. We have 4 a week right now with our 4 litters, so it's a busy time at Van Isle Labradoodles. Thanks so much for watching.